none other than Betsy Bishop of Touchstone Crystal. You see her somewhere in one of your screen blocks. The reason why Betsy is so special to us is not because of all the bling in the background, which we all love, but it's because she is one of the very first Women on Course virtual series sponsors. So she has decided to put her money where Women on Course is virtually and connect with you. And for that, we always want to give our sponsors a little bit of time right at the beginning just to say hello and also to show you a little bit what they do. So I'm going to hand it over to Betsy, and thank you so much for sponsoring today's session.
Great. Thanks, Tina. That's so kind. And thank you, Donna, also for having me. And Sandy, looking forward to this. As I said, I'm Betsy Bishop. I work with Touchstone Crystal by Swarovski. So this is the direct selling division of Swarovski. We actually offer, for those of you who've never heard of us, we have 3 different things that we offer. One is really fun shopping any time of the year, but especially right now because half our line is under $50, so it's just a great opportunity to find really pretty Swarovski items for stocking stuffers and Secret Santas and for special gifts. And then the second thing that is super fun is that I love to offer shopping nights. So we do things that are live and in person, depending on where you are, or something that's virtual. And then the last thing is a business opportunity like what I do. I have a team of women, well over 1,000 all over the country, and business builders all the way down to fun little hobbyists who just love a little bit of sparkle. But all in all, we have a lot of bling for your swing, and I am really happy to be here. So thanks, Tina.
Thank you. I love that term, bling for the swing, because we all love bling, even if our swing may not be so good sometimes. So thank you, Betsy. All right, with that, I'm going to have Sandy Spina, who has been with me since the very early stages of the Success Series. And Sandy was the one that, through feedback, because I'm always open to feedback, Sandy was one of the ones who said, hey, listen, I got some feedback to give you on how I think we need to recapture the magic in the Success Series virtually. And I said, let's hear it. And so we've worked on calls at least a couple of times now for well over an hour each time to try to create an atmosphere today that is not only going to give you an opportunity to learn, but an opportunity to exchange and be heard, which is where the magic happens with our in-person Success Series. So I'm going to hand it over to Sandy to kick it off, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Tina. Yes, I love that because I know we did get a lot of feedback and everybody was missing it. I love that we have people from all over the country on here because you're going to get to see a little glimpse of what we do here in Northern Virginia. Because anyone on this call, I'm sure we have everything, the same things in common. We love connecting and growing with other like-minded businesswomen, right? And it's on and off the golf course, no matter which way you go. So this is one of our off the courses today. And we hope that you're going to be all willing participants today when Tina goes through Manager 168 workshop. Did everyone get one of these forms? If you did not get one of these forms, just comment with your name and your email address. We'll get one to you. So that you can fill this out. We usually hand these out in person, but again, we're doing it all virtually today, so it's something a little different because we are going to be going through this, and this is where you're going to be sharing, writing your own information, but also sharing with your team that we're going to have in breakouts. First thing I want everyone to do, and I think a lot of people have, you all know how to, you're all on here. So you've got, if you go up to the right corner, there are 3 dots, and we want you to put in your name and your business, or if you're retired, where you live or your hobby, so that everybody gets to know each other a little bit in just that bit. So if everyone can do that. And now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go around, and again, we're mindful because we only have an hour. We've got a lot packed into this, this day today. We're gonna go around and we want everyone to say their name and what is their biggest time suck right now, like in 2 words or less. So name and biggest time suck. I'll start, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Donna and Tina. And then I'm going to go to the facilitators, and then I'll put everybody on here. If everyone wants to mute themselves and then they can unmute themselves, that'd be great. All right. So for example, my name is Sandy Spina. I would say kitchen, oh my God, office renovation. So Tina, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Fox, CEO of Women on Course. And my biggest time suck currently is Netflix documentaries.
Donna.
So my name is Donna Hoffman. I'm the founder of Women on Course, and my biggest time suck is I get spiraled into jigsaw puzzles.
Good one. Now what I'm going to do is we've got 3 other facilitators today who are going to actually help you walk through this in your breakout room. So I'm going to start at the very top where I see Katie Greco.
Sure. So it's Katie Greco here, and my biggest time suck currently is nighttime TV.
Thanks, Katie.
So
And
on Housewives.
Stacey Campisi.
Hello, everybody. Stacey Campisi from SLC Coaching. My biggest time suck these days have probably been the news and social media.
Going over to our other facilitator today, Pragya Misha.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies. Pragya Mishra. My biggest time sucker would be, I would say, Netflix and news.
Good one. And these are the women that, again, you're going to be in a breakout room with one of these women in just a little while. So, and now I'm going to go over to Betsy Bishop.
Thank you. So I would say it's the news or the leaves in my yard that are taking me about 2 hours a day right now.
Oh, that's good. Tamara Fry.
I think my disorganization is making me less effective. If that's even a thing. You have lots of things on your list, but you don't even know where to start.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to move over to Carolyn.
Hello, everybody. I'm Caroline Pennington. I work for Brightview Senior Living. I'm a community sales director. And my biggest time suck is probably online books. I'm a book addict, and it just, I can just really get lost.
Oh my God, you should join our business book club. But that'll be on the website if you're a reader.
Okay. I'm in.
Susan Shannon.
Oh, me? Hi. My biggest time suck is emails. I own my own company. I've got 3 people. I'm doing better delegation, but I'm telling you, it's like Pavlov's dog. I hear that email, I'm like, I got to go answer it. So that's what and the news was last week, but I'm over that now.
Good. Kate Duffy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Duffy. I work as a financial advisor with Morgan Stanley Private Wealth Management. And I have to agree with Susan. My biggest time suck now is not only work emails, but I also signed up for alerts from the Wall Street Journal and Philadelphia Business Journal. And I probably get 50 dings a day, and I look at every single one of them. It's certainly a time suck.
Oh my gosh. How about Kristen Tetherton?
Hi, I'm Kristen Tetherton, and my company's Triton Technology. And my business time suck at work, it's got to be email. I get distracted by email very easily, but at home, it's just my phone, whether I'm reading a book or social media, it's a waste of time.
Totally get that. Sandy Adams. Sandy, you're on mute. There, you almost went off. There you go.
Okay, sorry, I've been having some difficulties. I apologize. I'd say my biggest time suck is between just the amount of email that I get from both personal and work. And then I, sometimes just get sucked into the current events, and I get kind of focused on that, and I have to pull myself away to focus back on work.
Got it. Moya.
Hi, I'm Moja, and I would say it's okay. I would say TV for sure, the news, and just watching movies.
Got it. How about Pat Leary in Boston?
Oh, here I come. All right, emails is gonna win because I work on the road and my phone constantly pings to reply to somebody and they're replying back and I'm driving. So it's crazy. It's a crazy world. Zooming out.
Zooming out, I love it. Christy.
Hi, this is Christy Nix with Ameriprise. I'm a financial planner. And my biggest time suck is the opposite of what another one of your members said. I agree with the disorganization, but I am getting sucked into all the home renovation or reorganization because you can't escape it. I see it every day. So I'm spending way too much time organizing things.
Good one. Good one. Did Sarah Anderson, did I get you?
Hi, sorry I came late. Do you hear an echo when I speak, or are we okay?
We're okay.
Okay. Okay. Just let me know if you do. Sarah Anderson in Boston, and I think the question was around our biggest time suck. Yes. Okay. My biggest time suck is work and like putting it down, because it's always physically there and there's always an email, there's always something, and it's just letting it go, and it can come to tomorrow. That's my biggest time suck.
Got it. Okay, Susie Adib, I'm going to go over to you. And what I know a couple of you joined a little later, so I'm just going to read your name and your biggest time suck right now.
Hi, my name is Susie Adib. So right now, my biggest time suck is my family. I mean, I won't even lie. Between the kids in school, and then my husband who acts like a child, and then having to work, like all of it.
No doubt, no doubt. And then I think last, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole Johnson. I would say the biggest time suck is work. I hope you can hear me because I have a mask on, but.
Good one. Oh my gosh. Did I miss anybody?
Me.
Oh, Dr. Donna. How'd you pop away? Okay, Dr. Donna. And all right.
And Diane.
Just say Donna. Don't say the doctor part.
Just rhyme, so can't help it.
Okay. Well, my biggest time slot is talking on the phone and watching television when I should be doing 50 million other things.
Yep.
Got it. And then Diane?
Yeah, I actually am retiring this week, so that's a good thing. But
yes,
I have to agree with Donna. I have been sucked into jigsaw puzzles online, and oh my God, it's so fun, but it's a waste of time.
Oh my gosh, this has been great. I love doing that. I loved hearing what everybody has. So many similarities and some more than new. So this is going to be really fun to do the exercise. So with that, we're going to take it to the next place here, which is I'm going to introduce back over to Tina Fox, again, CEO of Women on Course, and who has actually created this series, the Success Series, years ago. And now we're bringing it live today. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Tina, and you're going to walk us through the 10-minute talk, and then we're going to break out into our breakout. So over to you, girl.
Sounds good. All right. So the way we did this live is we always had this little grounding talk, as we called it. And it was just to get your synapses fired up on the subject for today, which if you've signed up for this, you know that it's on your 168 and managing time. And so that's what I'm going to be discussing. I want you to be putting yourself into the mode of being participatory, because as soon as I'm done speaking, we are going to do our level best to get you into different breakout rooms. Sandy and I practiced this, so I'm praying that it's all going to work, and I'm going to send you off into different rooms. It might take a minute, but then you're actually going to go into smaller breakout rooms and you're going to communicate and connect. And that's really where the magic happens, as I mentioned earlier. And then I'm going to draw you all back into the larger session, where we're going to report out pearls of wisdom that came out of each one of the breakout rooms. So you're going to get to know each other in a small group. You're going to get to hear each other from a large group. And then we're going to open it up to Q&A and open networking. All of this is going to be done before the top of the hour, wherever you are. So we've got a lot to cover. So in looking at this, this topic, I want to kick off in saying time. It goes against everything we know when it comes to the law of supply and demand. If you think about it, something that is of limited supply usually commands a higher price. Think diamonds, for instance. But interestingly, time is in limited supply to us all, yet it is free. It literally costs us nothing. Is it that we spend so much of our time doing things we'd rather not because time is free? And so we associate free with maybe plentiful, and therefore we treat free, or in this case time, with wild abandon. Interestingly, if you chose to take time to be here today, so I'm under the impression that you might be thinking a little bit differently about time. And I'm just going to ask anybody who's not on mute right now, because we're getting awesome. Thank you. So 2 years ago this week, actually, interestingly enough, I hosted a sold out session on this topic about time management. It was one of the most requested topics on our live session feedback forums. Now, that was the large metro audience of the crazed Washington, D.C. metro area, but today's audience is national. So I decided to go back and reread my talk to ensure that I wasn't just using local references. But in rereading my talk from 2 years ago, you know what I ended up doing? I chose to throw it out, most of it at least, because I had come to realize how much has changed in 2 years and how I now have more to share with you and more for you to consider. So you see, in that 2 years, time became the single thing I became most concerned about. How much more time would I have to spend with my family? 13 months ago, my heart gave out. It was tired, and it was stunned, and it had become acutely ill. And while the doctors were telling me that I was going to have to engage in a heart transplant workup, all I could think about was time. Being faced with my own mortality changed how I saw time. For the first time, I had a clear image of the fact that time is not plentiful. And it also became crystal clear as to, if given more time, what would I do with what I was given? Now, you've likely heard these individual wake-up calls and these stories, just like I have throughout my life. But like with much in life, we consume without consciously being aware until it happens to us. C'est la vie. And not to take us off a separate branch of today's intention, I wanted to remind everyone the importance of being present to truly enjoy the time we are given. Functionally, we are in the present. Mentally, the act of being present is taken over with thoughts of what's to come or what has transpired. We mentally live in a world of before and after, but rarely do we live in the now. And that word present, that has a double meaning in our language, as you know. It can mean now, or it can mean a gift. And since my recovery, I choose to see the now as the gift. So how do we make the most of the gift, the present? And how are we living in that space? Now, as a student for life, which I believe all of us are, one of my early learnings came from Stephen Covey's First Things First. So I thought I would share this with you. Hold on a second, I gotta share my screen. I'm gonna share this with you. Okay, can you all see that? Can you see that screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome, thank you. I just needed a yes because I can't, you guys have gotten so small now on my screen. So I'm gonna hover over this here. So for those of you who know Stephen Covey, this is gonna be a review for you. For those of you who don't know Stephen Covey, this is the first time you're hearing it. This is actually a practical tool that I had applied for years in my life. And I still think it's a great guide when it comes to trying to manage your time. So let's review this. In quadrant, now I did it in 4 different ways. And the reason I did it in 4 different ways is depends on how you like to learn. So up here in the top left-hand area, lots of color. People who love color, you're gonna go there. Over here in the top right-hand area, if you're from the Northeast and you just wanna know how it is, you're gonna love this priority matrix over here. If you're down here and you love alliteration, you're gonna wanna hang down in the lower left-hand corner. However, if you're like me, you like a little bit of color, you want things laid out with a little bit more detail, you might end up hanging down here in the lower right-hand corner to see what all this means. But I'm gonna go through this as you're looking at it. So we talked a lot about what our time suck is, and that's really quadrant 4, right? Television, for me it's Netflix and the documentaries, Jigsaw's online, email, and more email. They also said in one of these boxes, pleasant activities, which I thought was interesting, and we'll get to that in a second. But anyways, quadrant 4, as to how you're gonna manage your time, is the do not do section, right? Of all the things that you could be doing with your time, if you were faced with your mortality today, are you going to go check email? Are you going to go sit in front of the television set? Are you going to go online and do jigsaw puzzles? What is it that you're going to do? If it's a waste of time, you probably shouldn't be doing it if you're facing your mortality. Quadrant 3 is what they listed out as, a phone call. Interestingly, one of these things, most meetings I don't know about you, but when I was in corporate America, I was meetinged out. I mean, how many more meetings could we come together? It's like it needs to be established. Everybody needs to go to the work and then it just needs to finish. We don't need 17 meetings in between, but there are so many meetings that go on. This is also general interruptions. If you're working from home, like some of us are, you end up with your kids as a general interruption. You end up with your spouse who's also working from home. You've got the lawn guy coming, whatever you have going on, there are so many distractions. Even when I worked in an office, I remember when my door was shut, people didn't look at that as an opportunity to leave me alone. They looked at that as what's on the other side, and they would come knocking all the time. So there's lots of distractions. This quadrant, quadrant 3, is also known as the do later quadrant. It's not the unnecessary, it's just maybe we can put this off for better things. So in managing your time, we move to quadrant 1 before quadrant 2. Why? Because quadrant 1 is like the flat tire you get on the way to anywhere you're going. Well, if you've got that, you don't have a choice. You got to deal with that emergency. For some of us, it's a sick child, or it's a sick self, or a sick parent. It's a true crisis or emergency. So we don't have a choice. There is going to be some of our time that we have to be mentally and physically prepared to shift and go because it requires our attention. That happens to everybody. So don't worry about that. Just know that that could happen. The last quadrant, which is the quadrant that we all want to be in, that Stephen Covey talks about, is quadrant 2. That's that upper right-hand corner quadrant. It's the quadrant of vision boards, for those of you who are into vision boards, wellness appointments, not sick appointments, relationship building, which is a huge one, and we're so missing that through COVID. But it's the do next. So if you're in an emergency situation and you have to take care of the fire, definitely take care of the fire. But the next thing you should do is you should do these things that matter. So that's quadrant 2. So I'm going to take you back off screen share here for a second. You guys back to seeing me and I'm seeing you? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So in thinking of these quadrants, the visual makes me feel like no quadrant is bigger than the rest, because in what I just showed you, they're equally depicted. When clearly, unless an emergency that's involving you is at hand, quadrant 2 should be the largest consumer of your time and energy. So when I decided to build this workshop years ago, it was really, I want to use a different pictograph. And so I decided to use the circle for my visual, hence why we sent you out those worksheets with Donna's reminder of this call. And I decided to chart out slices of my typical 168. Now, every time I say 168, this is one part of the talk that I did 2 years ago that I did not can, because it's still true to this day that if any of us are lucky to live a single week, we're given the same number of hours, and that's 168 hours. So how are you living those 168 hours? Another way put, I remember hearing this at a grief counseling session. If you have seen a headstone in your life, you have seen the date, the year of the person's birth, you have seen a dash, and you have seen the year of the person's death. And so in that grief counseling, there was a poem that went around it. It was, how are you living your dash? And that's really what it gets down to, right? Is how are we managing our time to live our dash? So a couple years ago, when I first started plugging in where I actually spent my hours, I started noticing into this pie chart, okay? I started noticing that Q2, that quadrant we're supposed to be in, that I had actually spent the least amount of my time there. And it had blown my mind because I had been so good at doing that for so many years of my life when I was in corporate America. When I became an entrepreneur 6 years ago, somehow I lost all sorts of time to things that were emergency based, but I had set myself up for those emergencies to happen, or time sucks because I was just fried and I needed to like get away from things, or I was constantly being interrupted and being guided by other people. And so I realized I had really spent not much of my time in Q2. And I ended up, unfortunately, 5 years into my 6 years of entrepreneurship with that drastic wake-up call of my heart stopping. So if anything, I'm hoping that what this exercise will do for you today is to steer you away from a drastic wake-up call, right? So we don't want that to happen to anybody else. I also started to notice that this is only good, doing this exercise is only good if you have a clear understanding of what you want. And that starts with what really matters to you. Now, interestingly, this is something that's been thrown around a lot. You know, what matters to you? What matters to you? But some people know what they want to do, but they fill their time with other things anyways. They're in a function of reacting to the world around them. There are other people that I talk to who don't know what they want to do at all in life. Not all the time. They just might be in a space of life where they just had a major change, or they've seen something that's making them think a little bit differently. And so that paradigm shift in their head has them uncertain. And they haven't identified a true passion. And that changes, right? In our 20s, we have different passions than we do in our 40s or 50s or 70s. So that might be the space where some of you are in. But you know what? The nice thing about this group is they keep trying different things and they keep plugging along. Now, many also that I've talked to chase after things that others have seen are deeming of importance. I know many of you said that you watch the news, right? Well, the news has made it seem like nobody is going to function regardless of the outcome of these elections. They made that the most important thing in so many one of our lives. Yet there's still this thing called COVID, and there's still all this other stuff that we're worried about in our life. And one of the other things that I think nationally, internationally, that people chase after that are deemed of social importance is money. That's probably the number one thing, and understandably so. You know, there's a funny country song for those of you who are country music listeners. I listen to all genres of music, but if you know Chris Janson, he has a country song that says, I know everybody says money can't buy happiness, but it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull it. And I just find that line so hilarious because it's very real, right? It's like, even though maybe that shouldn't be the thing we're focused on, it does buy you certain things, right? So he was very honest in that. But I've been one of those millions that came along with that same thought of money was everything. And I put Stephen Covey's steps that we just went over into place, and I succeeded, at least financially, beyond what I was supposed to, I believe, as a woman. In the age that I was growing up, or a daughter of an immigrant and a military man. Nobody had ever thought that I could ascend and make the kind of money that I did, but I don't regret any of it. But what I did gain is new wisdom and insight. And I feel money, if you chase it, it won't chase you. But if you're going after what it is that you actually want and believe in, then money will find you and it will come chasing after you. It's kind of funny how that works, but that's a lesson I've learned in life. So this leads me to the other thing that I did not change from my first talk, and it still applies to today. And on your worksheet, I've given you a little space to write it down. It's the power of three. It's the three things that may help you through your workshop today. One, start with what matters. Don't let others dictate this for you. If you aren't honest with yourself, the act of the exercise you're going to go through is lost. What matters to you? If it's money, then okay, fine. That's what you're going to put down. But if it's other things, if it's family, if it's health, if it's writing a book, whatever it is, put down with what matters to you. Two, get help. This is something that I feel as though when I speak to women, I put this in here. When I speak to men, I don't put it in there. And the reason being is that men always ask for help. They delegate really well. A lot of them always ask for help. But what I've noticed in working with women, particularly women entrepreneurs, is that asking for help and getting help has been very difficult. But you know, we cannot be all things to all people. Getting help means you're giving someone else the opportunity to shine in their lane for you. Now, I learned this when I was sick. The outpouring of love was really amazing. The food, the visits, the gifts, the cards. And you know, I was raised thinking, this is so backwards, but I was raised thinking that if others helped you or gave you something, you owed them. And so you can imagine how I felt when I received as much help as I did. I had to retrain my thinking to surrender, acceptance, and ultimately gratitude, which was not easy. Perhaps some of you may feel that way, or another way, which is holding you back from choosing help to move forward, maintaining that work-life integration, or coming that much closer to your goals. The third thing that I had written 2 years ago, which still holds true today, is learn to say no. I keep going back to my illness, but it's because it was probably the single most important moment that set things straight for me. Thank goodness it happened, honestly. I remember feeling bad one day because those I thought would show up for me did not, unfortunately, at that time, some of them. Yet in the times that I was healthy, they were the same people that wanted my counsel, support, network, energy, whatever it is that I was able to provide them. And so one day I was feeling sad for myself, and then I was talking to one of my friends, and this guy, he made me laugh so hard. So he used to be a pastor. I call him a failed pastor because he's changed his career path. But anyways, he used to be a pastor, and he says to me, in no uncertain terms, for crying out loud, Tina, Jesus only had 12, and a couple of them were backstabbers. How many people do you think you're really going to have a true connection with in this lifetime anyways? And I thought, holy cow, I got to get my head wrapped around that one for a second. Well, I let it go right then and there. It reminded me of something I dealt with in sales and have often said to others. Donna loves this quote. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on. Sometimes we have to be the ones to say no, accept no, and learn to love no. It has become, after all, my second favorite word next to yes. I've learned that no defines the edges of yes. And aren't we trying to get to yes? Yes, this works for me. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I am present. Yes, I love it. Yes, I am happy. Of note, those are the three things, but managing time is a tricky thing. It's not static. It is always a fluid entity. So today's exercise is something that you'll have to visit from time to time, just like I did, to ensure you are following what you want for your time. Because as things change, one thing is for sure. Nature hates a vacuum. And the second you have extra time on your hands, it will get filled with something. But the question is it the something that you most desire? I was really good for many years in time management, and then things changed and I got out of sorts. Doing this exercise with others was a huge help for me, as I hope it's going to be a huge help for you today. So in the quick 10-minute workshop you're going to be going into next, have a general sense of your current time reality in that pie shape. Don't worry about the details right now. You can come back to it later when you have time to map it out. Ask yourself, do you know what matters to you? If not, then you should start there. If you do know what matters to you, then figure out what quadrants you're currently living in. Are you living in the hairs on fire quadrant? Are you living in the planning quadrant? Are you living in the time suck quadrant? Or are you living in the everybody else is telling me what to do quadrant? Then visualize how you want to live and map that out in that second circle on the worksheet we gave you. The goal of the 10 minutes is to have good conversation around this topic. You can take that in a lot of directions. We have facilitators. I'm going to be putting you here in rooms in a second with your facilitators. Their main goal is to make sure that there is good exchange and that all have been heard, but be respectful of each other's times and do engage, because that is where the magic happens. You'll get a 1-minute warning to come back into the larger group to which you are speaker for the group will be delivering her pearls from what you all discussed. And with that, I'm going to send you into breakout rooms. Okay, so let's do this. Oh, open all rooms. Okay, unassigned, assigned to. Okay, 1, assigned to. It's going to take just a second.
We have 23 people.
Okay, assigned to Sandy, assigned to Katie, assigned to Katie, assigned to Stacy, assigned to Stacy. Stacy is assigned to Stacy. Donna should be assigned to, oh my gosh, assigned to Donna.
Well, while Tina is doing that, you guys can be looking at your time management sheet and filling out your reality. Right?
Yes, I'm almost done here.
I'm in a breakout room. Oh, there's Pat. Pat, you can unmute yourself. Diane. There's Donna. So is everybody off their mute so they can talk?
Hi, Donna.
Hi.
I'm good. I'm good.
How are you?
All right, I don't know if we're getting one more. So I guess before everybody take a minute and just on their sheet, start with the 3 things, I guess the top 3 things they'd like to have or they want.
I don't have a sheet, Donna.
You don't have a sheet?
No, nor do I.
Okay.
It's in my truck.
So what the sheet is, so basically you write down the top 3 things you want in your life, and then take a circle and draw a pie chart. So my chart is half of that circle, I fill it with work. A little sliver are people, and the rest is mindless activities. That's where I am right now. So kind of fill out your chart, like how your pie divides up, how you're spending your time each week.
Oh, how it is now.
How it is now, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, maybe I have a little exercise in there.
So put the 3 top things that I want right now.
Yeah, things that you mean the most to you.
Okay.
And then in the circle, the pie chart, just kind of divide up how you spend your time during the week.
Okay.
And actually, I do more things than those 3 things. So I'm gonna kind of divide it up how you do it currently, and then make a circle how you like it to look. So if someone's a workaholic and their whole circle's work, but they really want to do family, so do the 2 circles, where you are now and where you want to be, your pie chart. And then does one person in the group want to be the speaker for our group to kind of, when we go back to the big group, kind of share 1 or 2 pearls of wisdom? No? Diane, do you want to do it?
Well, sure.
Okay, we can.
Yay, Diane.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay. All right, anybody want to start? I've done this before. So, oops, what happened to Donna? She disappeared.
I don't know. I got a call.
Oh, you're still there. Okay.
How do I not take it? Recline. Okay.
Hang up. Okay, so when I draw my chart, I worked really hard already because I would say 90% of my circle was work, Women on Course. I was doing it round the clock and I had no time for anything else. So I've been really good at scaling that back. So it's half of my time. So half my time's work, but I think a big portion is this mind suck. I do puzzles. I'm just anything I can do except attack the things I need to do, which is my house is a disorganized mess. And with COVID, we have painters here right now in our basement, but I want to get my house, I want to get all the clutter. I want to get 30 years of photographs sorted. I had a contractor come and reorganize my closet. So I've been wanting to clean up my closet for 20 years. And the fact that he was coming and it had to be empty, I took everything out and put it in an extra bedroom. So now all the crap is sitting in an extra bedroom, but I've been whittling it down. So one of the things I've done, one of the things I've learned is I set a time, like, all right, Saturday, I'm going to spend 1 hour attacking this thing I want to get done, but I'm using time suck to avoid it. And that's really helped me whittle away. But having a firm deadline has really helped me. And then exercise was another big thing. And lucky that the weather's nice here. I make myself go out and take a walk every day. And the way I motivate myself, I have 2 ways. I have a neighbor that I call to make her do it with me, or I started listening to podcasts. And I'm really excited to hear the podcast, but I can only listen to it if I'm out walking or exercising. That's how I make myself do it. That's all I got to share. Donna,
I can share.
Okay, go.
Okay. I don't know if it's good or not, but one of the things that's important to me is for me to lose weight. And I need to improve my exercise routine. I already know that. Some of the things I'm doing that this activity has made me think about is how do I spend my time? Well, I'm spending my time watching television since I've retired.
Okay.
I used to be very active at work. I was an administrator. I was the representative for the Washington Teachers Union. So I was constantly going, and I was not fat because I was moving so much. Since retiring, it's been going on 5 years now. I have been staying at home, watching television. When I'm not home, I'm driving around in my car, going to different places, doing things for family. I have a sick mom, doing things for her or another family member. And most of all, I've been eating out because I haven't been cooking at home. I like eating out at different restaurants, and that's not helping me with my weight management. So that's what's going on with me. Trying to lose weight, but I like to eat out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a great idea. Do you have any sort of exercise bike or treadmill or anything?
I have a gym.
A gym.
In my base.
Say I can only watch TV if I'm on the bike, or I take hand weights, and I just say I have to do this for the first 30 minutes of watching TV, or I cannot watch TV and sit. Set a rule for yourself.
I don't know what happened.
That's why you're doing that.
Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I thought of that. And let me show you what I did. In my family room, I put my exercise. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Can you see it? I put my exercise bike
where the TV is.
Television.
That's
so
perfect.
I said, every time I'm watching TV now, when the commercials come on, I jump on the bike.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I started doing that, but it's so hard.
All right, I'll give you another clue.
Commercial.
I lost 17 pounds. I had a deadline because my daughter got married. So I had to fit in this dress, Tina saw me dress. So at night I eat Smart Pop. So I just started doing, this sounds really dumb, a cross stitch, because now I'm expecting a grandchild. So I can't eat while I'm doing the cross stitch. And the cross stitch is very addictive. Like I stay up till midnight, but I'm watching TV. So now I can't eat because my hands are busy.
Okay.
So I'm going to lose
That's
weight
good.
just by not eating after dinner.
Okay. I think I just needed something to do.
Yeah. You need
Other
something
than
to
watch
do
television.
while you watch TV.
While I watch television.
Yeah.
I really hate getting on that exercise bike. So I found a new out, and it's online. I started bid calling. It sounds kind of stupid, but bid calling is, when you go to auctions.
Oh yeah.
And you see the auctioneer. And they make the call out to the public. So I kind of got interested in doing something like that. And that's been taking my time. And I haven't had the opportunity to think about food.
Okay. So
Yeah.
distraction.
That's my distraction. Yeah, right now.
Okay. All right, Pat, how about you?
Let's see. Right now, we're into my little chart. So right now it's like 50% work, 40% outside activities. I'm a good volunteer person. That's what I like to do. I'm a people person. So Zooming is not for me. So I'm outside as much as I can be, doing whatever Boston has to offer. So I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. Luckily healthy, and working on downsizing. Next year, what I would like to do is much more downsizing of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Downsizing, reduce my work hours, sail into retirement, and do more outside stuff. So I'm not a television person. Go ahead.
So when it gets cold, what do you do when it's cold? Are you still outside?
Yes, I am, Donna. I will walk. I will do whatever we can do outside. Yes.
Good. Yeah,
Wow.
I had a certain temperature where I wouldn't walk past like 45 degrees. So we had another event where we had a layer up and dress warmly. So I bought the thermal layer. So I bought all these layers. So now I can go outside and it's warmer. Now I'm down to 38, maybe 40.
you know, you go outside, then you appreciate coming in, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Diane, how about you?
Okay. Well, my life is changing totally.
Retire.
I am retiring for the second time. And I'm totally retiring except for hosting events. I do performance sports with dogs, so I do competitions and I do training. So I'm retiring from the training part. Tomorrow's my last class, but I'm still going to host competitions, which are weekend deals, 80, 100 people, things like that, because I love hosting and putting on events. So right now I'm packing because I'm moving also. And I also tap into the reward system Donna was talking about, and both Donnas were talking about. So if I go and pack some things, or if I do something, I reward myself by coming back and doing a puzzle.
Okay.
So, you know, I have to do something before I can do this freaking puzzle. And I'm so mad somebody told me about these puzzles online because I am addicted to it and it's terrible. But I have a lot of time on my hands. I'm not moving. It's a month from today or this week. And I'm very organized anyway. I mean, I've gotten rid of all the furniture I need to. The rest of it I've got homes for. And I've deleted or purged the junk, like Donna was talking about, you know, getting organized. I love throwing things away. I love it. You feel so good when you get rid of that stuff you've had in a box for 30 years, and it's like, why do you have it then, you know? So my goals when I move, that's what I have to look at now, not because right now my life is different. Walking my dog, exercising, more golf. Well, we can play golf for a while here. Pickleball again. And I want to learn how to watercolor paint. I mean, I can't even do a stick figure, but I want to learn how to watercolor. So that'll be something I do. And then the mindless stuff, you know, it's like I do write on my calendar me day, and I make sure I don't book anything for that day. It's my day. I can do whatever I want to. So I'm pretty good about my downtime, but it's very important to me is my downtime. Because I feel like when I was teaching and everything and then working years ago and volunteering a lot, I was always getting pulled in million directions by so many people. And now I'm like, I know how to say no. I really learned how to say no, and it feels really good when you do say no.
So I have a question. We have 1 minute left. I have a question. No one said people, you know, spending time with people, quality people. I realize I'm an introvert during this COVID. I love not having to do anything with people, but I crave very intimate one-on-one conversations with people. Like, I don't need a big group, but I do miss one-on-one with special people. So that's why I love Women on Course. I love I don't know, but I've learned I really like my time by myself a lot. Like, I could be here for a week. My husband was sick. We think he had COVID. So an entire week I was alone in the house. I kind of liked it.
I love it.
That scared me a little bit because I'm like, what if I'm going to be all alone? But I liked it.
Yeah. Oh. I definitely love living alone, and I'm moving in with 2 friends until I move to Florida. But it's a whole big house, and I'll have the whole downstairs. But I'm used to living alone, and I love it.
All right, we're going to go back.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy power to be able to be like, suck them all back into the same room.
That was kind of fun. That was, but we were midstream. So Diane, I hope you know what you're going to say from our group.
Was that enough time? No, right?
Probably a little more time.
Okay, all right. We're perfecting this for the future, but we also want to respect your time. So that was super cool because I got to bounce in and out of rooms, and even in the bouncing, there was really good conversation. I took a few notes myself because I was like, write that down. So I can't wait for you all to do your pearls of wisdom. So each room should have had, where's Sandy? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay. Each room should have had one person that was elected as a speaker. that was able to bring out something of intention from your open discussion. So I'm just going to open it up. Let's start with Sandy's room, Sandy Spina's room. Sandy, who is your speaker?
Sandy Adams.
Okay, Sandy, what do you have for us?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so just a couple of things that we all shared as part of our Start With. One of them was sleep. We, really felt like, especially over the last several months, got to focus on getting sleep so that you can manage everything else that gets thrown at you, and exercise as well. Then we talked a little bit about different distractions that, each of us encounter, in a given day that pulls us off our purpose. Another area of, focus is just managing our time. And how do we manage our time? Especially one of our members, one of the people in our group, just recently transitioned from a job that she'd been doing for quite some time. And so she had her time, well managed. And now as a contractor, she's trying to find what we retired military people would call battle rhythm, and, just how to, focus on the day. And then another one of our members, and I love this, talked about how she focused a few years ago. She started focusing on trimming the fat of her life, in terms of, what are those things that I don't really need to be doing? She figured out her purpose, and she wanted to align everything that she did with that purpose. And she really worked on that and got it to a good point. And now she realizes with different changes that are going on, that's something that she has to constantly work on. And I personally really love that, because I think that I know that that's what I need to do. We also talked a little bit about the learning to say no. We just touched on that just a bit. And, I know personally that is a challenge for me. And after having this discussion, I know that that's something I need to work on. So those were the main things that we talked about in our 10 minutes.
Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go to Katie's group.
So I'm actually the facilitator, but going to be sharing today too. And I would say one of our main focuses in our discussion is the awareness and acceptance that your priority can change over time, and certainly will, depending on life stage or that role. So I'll share, depending on where you may be, if it's earlier in your career and you want to be the best, the all-star, and then maybe you end up, having a family, or just determine that your time wants to be spent in a different means, that you have to be aware, and then also B, have to accept it, that you can go from the all-star, employee to also the all-star mom to the all-star friend. And I think just acknowledging that and accepting it and letting everything else kind of take the wheel, if you will.
Thank you so much. That's very apropos. When you said that, it kind of struck a chord with me personally, because coming from a high corporate career into entrepreneurship, and then really having to take a back seat to a lot of things to be a present mom after my illness, accepting, a role where I'm not as active as I used to be on a, 60-hour-a-week basis work, it was difficult, that transition. So that really hit home. Thank you, Katie. All right, how about Stacy? Stacy, who in your group is speaking?
So funny enough, the one task you gave us was to assign someone, and I forgot. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And funny enough, it goes right in alignment with what we were discussing, which is just how distracted we all feel. So even when we get in the flow with something, there's just so much that's pulling our attention. For me, it was my 3-year-old that was here with me for the first half of this call. So the distractions and just how the weight that plays into where our time goes, because it takes so much time to get refocused after we get distracted. The other was just playing tug of war with competing priorities, self-care versus work, what wins when everything is important or seemingly important. And then we were talking at the end about, and then even when, we answer the question where we want our time to go and we get really clear, there's still that guilt that happens when we make the choice to spend our time there. And we were just kind of wondering, do men feel this way too? To which we concluded, no, they don't. So those, please feel free to chime in, but those were the three biggest takeaways from my perspective.
Yeah, I think it was Kate that when I popped into your room, I think it was Kate that had mentioned the guilt thing. Even the guilt from, doing something that has to do with self-care, like especially those of us that are working from home sometimes, going out in the middle of the day and getting a workout in. And it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I should have been doing this report, or maybe I should have been making this phone call. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't end up doing self-care, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to be in the hospital. And so you're no good to anybody. So that guilt hopefully will go away, knowing that you're doing the best thing for everybody else too. If you can't show up at your best, then you're doing nobody else a favor. So taking care of yourself is very important. So thank you, Stacy, for your share. Pragya, you have somebody in your group?
Yes, Susan is going to be.
Okay. Unmute, Susan. I think you're on mute. Technical difficulties.
Okay, is that good? Can you guys hear me? Oh, yay. Okay. Just some quick things. One is meetings. There's a lot of meetings now that we're all home, Zoom meetings. You don't have to go. They're not required. So our team realized that, is this meeting relevant to us? We don't have to go. So it's learning to say no, learning to decide, is this worth my time? The other one was just discipline. We all seem to be workaholics in my group. It's the discipline of, this is what I'm going to do at this time. We're all distracted by emails. So it's really learning discipline. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something that we have to learn, from this time every day, I'm going to do this thing, and then break it out from this. So we're all working 8 to 5 days eventually. And I think, and then just the other one, when kids at home, somebody brought in their a niece to help them with the kids, and that allowed her more time to spend on herself. Yeah.
And on that discipline note, I used to think that there was such nonsense, this whole accountability partner stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found myself in a rut and I needed an accountability partner. And I thought of all the people in my life that would really hold me to task on certain things. And so I have a once a week half-hour call with her, and she appreciates it too, because I keep her accountable to her stuff. So if discipline is hard to come by, then get yourself a partner, because it's always easier with a partner. So thank you, Susan.
Okay.
And last but not least, Donna.
Yeah, so Diane is going to speak for our group. Diane.
Okay. I think the main message for all four of us was exercise. We all wanted to do more exercise, allow ourselves to exercise. And a few of us were talking about a reward system. You go and do something else that you know you need to do, and then you reward yourself by exercise. Donna allows herself to listen to a podcast when she walks. And Dr. Donna wants to get on her bicycle. So during the commercials, while she's watching TV, which she said she might do too much, she gets on her bicycle. Let's see, Pat goes outside and walks, and I'm going to start walking more when I move, because my dog's going to need to walk more. And so scheduling your time slot to get something done, but then rewarding yourself is really important, and allowing yourself some downtime. Don't feel guilty about your downtime. Also spending quality time with quality people. People that, just like Tina was saying, her accountability partner, people that can nourish you and support you. Don't let the other kind of people suck your energy away, and enjoy your alone time. There's nothing wrong with being alone. I love it. Donna learned, she loves it. Learn to enjoy being with yourself. Be here now. You mentioned that in the first 5 minutes, Tina. You guys are kind of young, but there was a book written by Baba Ram Dass or something like that, some guru, called Be Here Now. Came out in the 60s, and it's about enjoying the moment you're in and not thinking where you want to be or what you were just doing. Be here now. And I'm trying to do that instead of always looking, okay, I'm done with this, let's go on, you know? So I think it's just our gig was exercise, enjoying being alone, enjoying being with quality people, and getting more organized.
That sounds awesome. So we've heard from everybody. You guys did a great job. Thank you for bearing with us through the different room breakouts. You know, for those of us who've been to a live success series, you see how when you get into the small group, there's a lot more interaction, of course, but there's some really good words of wisdom that are shared between different people. What I love about the virtual world is that we broke out of Washington, D.C., right? We have people like Diane from Denver. We've got people from Philly, Boston. We have you from all over the United States. The good thing is that we all still share a similar background as far as, you know, what are the things that bother us? What are the things that we need to overcome? And we try to do that here on the Success Series. So we've gone over our time. I'm going to stay on if anybody wants to stay on and just chit chat for about 5 more minutes. But I hope to see you on the next Success Series. It is going to be in December. Donna, can you remind me the date while I tell them what it's about?
Tuesday, December 8th, which is creating confidence.
So creating confidence, we're going to be talking about it in 3 ways. We're going to be talking about the outward physical confidence. We're going to be talking about inward confidence. And then we're going to be talking about environmental confidence, which includes how to show up your best on a Zoom call to portray confidence to those that you're speaking with in a virtual world. So hopefully you'll join us for that one. Should be a lot of fun. I have another expert coming on to help us. She's also going to give away 1 or 2 free on the air lessons as to looking at your behind the scenes space if you don't have a green screen up, and she will let you know exactly what you need to do in that space in order to project further confidence. So join us for that. You might be selected for that. Unless something changes